I don't I don't have any words. We're here. We got another video. I'm gonna just roll into it. Yaru having the gun and tank makes so much sense because they're aspects of war, but it's the way that they turned the Statue of Liberty into a Glock with a switch, and they let off shots. They insane, insane. Chainsaw Man is insane. I don't know what's left. Denji's taken out for the count, mind you. That's a KO for real. And there's just so much storytelling going on at the same time. Like the way that Asa looks at Yoru, like, wow, you're really a menace. Or even with Denji. And you know, one thing I thought about, I don't think Pochita is just Chainsaw. I think he might be an aspect of death. Like the same way the gun and the tank are an aspect of death. I think Chainsaw Man might be an aspect of death because whenever it takes off someone's top, they no longer exist. But that's like a factor of death. That's erasure. That's like true death. So I wonder if it was Pochita and the Horsemen of Death fighting Conquest, which technically would be Makima, Famine, and War, and Bro escaped and was like, "I'm out at the surface." I I don't know what to expect, and it makes me nervous. You have no idea how nervous it makes me because it's kind of like, where do we go from here? Like Denji's body is laying on the ground in half. Where do we go from here? How do we move forward? What's the next step? How is it that how do we move forward? And that's something that we have to really think about from Fujimoto's perspective is what's the next goal here? Because if Chainsaw Man gets back up, right? Now he has to fight Yoru, run it back. Then he has to fight Fami, run it back. Well, they've never fought, but he has to fight two horsemen, knowing it took everything in his power to fight the one from part one. Him versus Makima was crazy. It was crazy. So now it's going to be him versus Yoru in the same way. And if Famine jumps in, that's wraps. I don't see a way for Chainsaw Man to come on top. I really don't. But then again, it's so interesting because I think of the Horsemen, and every time I think of death, I think of Pochita. But for everyone else, like conquest, conquering, you're always going to see that. Um, Famine, starvation, like that's always going to be happening around the world. War, well, war is war. War is always going to be happening around the world. And so I wonder if, besides the gun and tank, if there is other aspects of war. For example, like spear, or I wonder if it's only modernized versions of war. Like, can Yoru choose what aspects, or maybe not use aspects. Can Yoru choose which time period that war occurs? Because if you go further back, we got spears and shields. You go up, we got muskets with blades. You go up, we got assault rifles. You go up, we have nukes now. So it's like, what is the limit in capability that Yoru has being the horseman of war? And by that same logic that we're talking about Yoru being the horseman of war, like that means that famine is probably just as bad, hopefully. It'd kind of be a little underwhelming if we found out that famine was just like, eh. If she was like, meh, I don't know if I'd be able to do that. But with all these appearances in the way that Denji has had to grieve Nayuta, I wonder if we're going to see power. Or I hope Nayuta's okay. I can't. That's a yawn. I can't imagine what Denji is going through and what he's trying to do to get back up. And mind you, the one at the end that tried to make Denji like make a contract and like basically tried to feed themselves to him, like it's just giving a bad vibe. It's like, when is enough trauma enough for Denji? And that's like the one thing I just can't like wrap my head around. Give him a break. He's tired. He's tired. Nayuta was enough. Power enough. Aki enough. That man has been playing with 5, 6 dogs while going to school, trying to live a normal life, and everyone keeps messing with him. Like, leave him be. But I say that to say the speed at which Yoru shot that bullet, because I'm going to assume they're in Japan, right? So that bullet went from New York all the way to Japan in a split second. That's a crazy feat. If I'm keeping it a buck, that's a crazy speed feat. We gonna have to contest that. We're gonna have to contest that for real. But I'm just saying, Chainsaw Man is going crazy. I look forward to it, and I'm really excited to see what more Fujimoto has in store. That's all I got for Chainsaw. Y'all be easy. Peace.